Hey everybody, Patrick Ali here with Siser North America, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a split jersey for game day. Let's get started. Alright, so the first step that we need to do is we need to get into Leonardo Design Studio and we need to set our file up. So from the home page, I'm going to head over to the design page of Leonardo. And for me to bring in an image, I'm just simply going to hit Control-I. This will allow me to import, find the image that I'm looking for, select it. So from the select import options, we're going to select editable artwork. Because we're bringing in an SVG, this will allow us to work layer by layer in our image. Now, it comes up on our home page of our design menu. All I'm doing simply is scaling it down so that it fits within my mat for now. And then now I'm going to show you how to separate your layers of your image, weld each color together, especially in an image where we have multiple layers and also individual colors like you see on screen. So without further ado, let's head over to the properties menu and we're going to select, if it isn't already, the layers panel. Now the layers panel will show you every color and every shape that you have within an image. So I'm going to hold down the control button. I'm just simply going to select the shapes or colors specifically that I want to weld together within my layers panel. Once I've selected each individual shape, I will hit Control-W, which will weld that group of color or shapes together, which will then make, in this case, the black layer of this design. Now I'm going to do the same thing really quick with all of the white layer. Hit Control-W. And then I will do the same with the red layer, hit Control-W. Now my whole image, each individual layer and colors are all registered properly. So now that all of my layers are actually welded together, I'm gonna go ahead and let's select this white layer for now. And we're going to hit our arrange tool and we're gonna hit send back one. And this is going to now make the contour line that I wanted in my image a little more prominent. I'm gonna take my red layer as well. I'm gonna go back down to that arrange tool and I'm gonna hit bring forward. This will make sure that that red layer is my top layer of my image. Now we're ready to go. From this step, what I need to do is I need to start sizing my image according to the jersey that I'm going to be using. Now the jersey we're using is a size medium, which typically gives us a range of about 10.5 inches to 11 inches across the chest of usable space. So we're going to arrange our artwork to cut this. Now what I like to do when I do multiple layer designs, but I also do a split jersey, is I actually like to just duplicate the entire design itself and cut two of each. And I'll explain to you later in the video why this is super important. So we're gonna go ahead, copy and paste, rotate this to make sure that both of these fit within my art boundaries, and we'll do a little bit of arranging from here. What I'm gonna actually go ahead and do now is I'm gonna hit my artboard and cutting mat. I will change it to a material roll, and because we are using 12-inch wide material, I'm also going to change the media length to 15 inches just for me to give me a little bit more space on screen when I'm working out my design. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight my image, make sure that that's the appropriate size that I want. Let's go 11 inches. And then we're also going to go ahead and do the same exact thing for this other layer, make sure that it is 11 inches across so that it will fit the chest of this, jersey really, really well. So from there, I'm going to finish arranging some of my artwork and then we'll get on to the cutting phase. Okay, now that our design has been put into Leonardo Design Studio, cut and weeded out, it's time to show you how to actually apply it to a split jersey garment. Now, we have to talk about the makeup of the jersey itself. Each jersey has a seam that runs down the middle by buttons and it splits into two different sections. Now, it's important to understand that there's about an 1 to 2 inch gap right down the middle of the jersey, which we're gonna have to trim off some of our image now that we have all of our layers put together. So first, I'm gonna show you how to layer your design to get it prepped for the press, and then we're gonna go ahead and put it on the garment to show you how to trim off the excess pieces. Okay, so when we talk about the makeup of a jersey, again, we have that big seam that runs down the middle, and then we also have a large seam on the button side of our jersey that we have to account for. So what we were able to do already is go ahead and layer one of our images all together. This is actually gonna be the back side of our split jersey. But first, I think what we should do, let's go ahead and set everything to the side, and let's show you how to layer your images to get set up. So what I have here is either a piece of parchment paper, or in this case, I'm actually using a static carrier sheet from one of our products. I'm gonna go ahead and arrange my items from biggest to smallest. Alrighty, so now we have to put all of our layers together. So the first layer that I'm gonna start with is my black layer, which would be my biggest contour that I have. I'm gonna lay that down flat on the table, and I'm gonna use a piece of either parchment paper, or in this case, I'm using a scrap carrier from the Easy Color DTV product that we carry. Really, it's just so that when I lay it down, I can see through to that bottom layer. So as I add the next layer to our design, I can go ahead and throw it on without it sticking to the bottom layer. And then I'm gonna go ahead and be able to align this with that bottom layer so that it all falls into place accordingly. Once I'm happy and confident and comfortable with my design, I can go ahead and leave a little excess piece off to the side. I can bring that and stick that to my bottom layer, pull up the white layer that I'm working with, pull away that transparent sheet that I was using to help me line it up, and then get everything down on my design. Made it super simple for me to multi-layer objects in a quick amount of time. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do, take that red layer and do the exact same thing. So we're gonna just throw it on our parchment paper, or our, in this case, our static carrier, so that we can see through it. I'm gonna go ahead and line it up with my design. And once again, I'm happy with the result, I can take the excess piece, stick it down to the other two layers we were working with, peel up that top layer, which is the red layer, remove that carrier, and now everything, as you can see, falls right in line. Now that I have both of my back and front layers of my images completely done, I'm gonna go ahead and start my process of getting them organized on my jersey so that they're in the right orientation when we press. So I'm gonna take one set of my images, and I'm gonna go ahead and place them exactly where I want them on the jersey so that they look really, really nice and clean. Go ahead about there, will allow me this. Now, I wanna make sure that we're on the same page. We're going to have to cut in two different locations on this top and this bottom layer of our images, but let's be careful, because when we have this top seam, it's meant to overlap the bottom seam. So if you're going ahead and you're going to get this bottom layer of your design prepped and ready to cut, or prepped and ready to apply, we're gonna go ahead and open this up, and we're actually gonna draw a line directly down the middle in the carrier, which is going to give us a nice cut line up to the edge of the seam on the inside of the jersey, making it super easy to get that split look once we go ahead and lay down the top of our design. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this right now, cut our top layer, and we'll go into the application process. Alrighty, so now that we have our bottom layer on this jersey, let's go ahead and cut right along the seam. And again, I'm cutting all three layers. This is obviously one way of the many ways to make a split seam jersey. It's just been the fastest and most efficient for me because it makes it a little bit easier. So now I have a piece that I can use for another jersey off to the side if I ever so choose. And now what I'm able to do is make sure that lines up properly with the seam, go ahead and close my jersey, and now I have this layer that I have to cut for the top portion of this split jersey design. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna line it up accordingly to the bottom layer, just so everything works out perfect and all of our image lines up. So now that I have this laid down, again, I have that seam on the top. I'm gonna go ahead and cut right along that seam, which is going to give me a really nice, clean cut along the seam when we go to the application process. And then once I'm done there, go ahead and remove. And as you can see already, we have a split design on our jersey. Let's go ahead and apply it for the final result. And just like that, we were able to show you one of the many ways on how to make a split jersey design. It's simple and effective every single time.